Keep it going for Gabe, you guys. Come on up, Gabe.
That's great. I will be close. So I was 16 years old the first time I tried on drag. My high school's drama teacher was a guy by the name of Mr. Maldonado, very bitter old queen. And he was the kind of guy who should have been on Broadway, but was devastated by the fact that he was not working on Broadway. And one year, my 16th year, 1990, Mr. Maldonado decided in a peak of frustration, he was not going to do an annual show. He wasn't going to do the annual play. So I'm sitting there at lunch with two of my friends, Tammy and Rich, close friends, both of them weird, outgoing, acty kids. And suddenly this idea occurs to me, what if we put on a show? And so this is the moment in most theater plays and also in movies where that like working hard montage would run, you know, like, yeah, we're up all night and writing stuff. But at first it was like, you know, real concern, like, would they even let us do that? And so, you know, I'm not a very good actor, but what I lack in acting ability, I make up for in my ability to negotiate with adults. And so I go to the school principal and I persuade him to let us do this play. And they agree to that as long as we don't spend a single dollar. So we have to do this for no money, okay? Now, I don't know if most of you know this, but legit plays ask high schools to pay licensing fees as well. So it's not free when you see a high school production. So we didn't have that budget, so we said, okay, you know, what can we do? And Tammy goes, you know, Midsummer Night's Dream would be a great story. It's public domain, let's do it. And Rich adds to that, he goes, actually it would be more fun if it was a modern version of Midsummer Night's Dream. And so for those of you who are familiar with the oeuvre of Bob and Doug McKenzie from SCTV, we did a very hoser Midsummer Night's Dream. I'm Canadian, so it was normal. So we went to cast the people in the play, and we chose from the most eclectic and interesting and outgoing and weird people. Now, I was mostly in drama class to make out with boys. And there was this guy, Dustin, and he and I were having a torrid affair. I mean, torrid, like every day, because we were like 16, so it was like every day. We were having this torrid affair, but it was secret because I was closeted, you know? And I really wanted Dustin to be in the play, but Dustin was Tammy's #1 enemy in the school. So I had to pretend like, oh, I hate him too, and let's not have him on board. So we get together, and all together as a group, we start improvising the play. Tammy will set the beat, we'll improvise, write stuff down. I didn't know Christopher Guest, I didn't know Larry David, I didn't know that that was the thing that you could do. It was just like, we were poor, here's what we do. And we're handing out the roles, and you know, I'm not a good actor, so I wait to the end. And the last role left, after everybody has gotten a role, is Titania, the Queen of the Fairies. Now, if you know this moment, if you can imagine, embody a 16-year-old gay boy's mind at this moment, I'm like deathly afraid of the idea of playing a role in drag, but also part of me is like, yes, you know, this is what I'm supposed to be. I'm supposed to be a man in women's clothes. That's what gay people are. So I'm like, great learning. And, you know, everyone's like, are you going to do it? And I said, yes, I'm going to do it. And they were like, in drag? And I was like, yes, in drag. And so the day comes for the performance, and the curtain opens, and I'm looking out from the wings, and the room is completely packed. We were packed in that gymnasium from front to back and side to side, and there's bitter, old, bitchy Mr. Maldonado in the front with his arms folded like this, like looking at us. And the first actor walks out on the stage, and the audience is loving it. They're clapping, they're laughing, and I'm standing there because Titania comes out at the end of the play, basically, so about a third of the way through the play. She's the last character introduced. And so I'm standing there, and if you guys have ever like jumped out of a plane, you know that it's much better to go first, because if you go last, you get a lot of time to contemplate your mortality. And so as I was standing there, my anxiety building and building and building and building, and suddenly my mind was filled with, they're gonna know that I'm a faggot. They're going to know all about me. I am going to get drummed out of this school. What will my parents think? And suddenly there was this moment, you know, when I had to decide to go out. And I said, okay, I'm going to go out. And I walk out on stage, this chubby, slightly bearded, a 16-year-old boy in a dress and high heels, very cheap, like Payless quality, or a cross-dress for less. And I walk out on stage, and the audience is living for it. They're like, yeah, like enjoying themselves so much. And, you know, after the play was over, we took the proceeds and we went and threw a little party for everybody, and we remained friends. To this day, I am still friends with Tammy and Rich and many of the people who were in that performance with us that night. And the interesting thing is that now, in retrospect, when I look back, it was only through the power of collaboration, only through their generosity of spirit and interest, their genuine desire to see me thrive, that this little gay boy was able to walk out on stage and for the first time in his life, feel free.